National Night Out is a police community awareness raising event held the first Tuesday of August.
Yep, and the event is meant to promote good relationships between the community and also police officers.
So there'll be a lot of information, a lot of food, also entertainment.
Yep, so stick with us and let's have some fun. Park Police Chief Alan Goldberg. Chief, thank you so much for talking to us today. What did it take to, create such a big event and have such a great turnout?
Well, it's a nationwide event, and Takoma Park's been doing it for many years. It's gotten bigger every year. The weather almost canceled it or delayed it a little bit too late, but it worked out very well. And Captain Collington and his staff, put it together. It's a really nice event that we get to spend time with the kids and the families that live here.
And there's actually a lot of staff here. I mean, what does that do as far as with the community? Do you feel like it kind of strengthens the relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it puts a face with a name with the officers. The officers here are very dedicated to community service, and it's not just one officer or two officers that do community service. It's all of us. It's everybody in the department's responsible for maintaining that good relationship with the community.
Right. So you've heard it, right? Across the nation, there's been certain instances of police brutality, and it seems like it just continues to heighten. What are we doing in Takoma Park so that we don't have those type of concerns?
Well, we actually have very few uses of force here, and there are certain areas of the country, where there's a lot more violent crime. That policing is different, and another thing is that sometimes the officers are justified in using force, but it doesn't always look good on camera because people aren't used to seeing that. And it's an educational piece. And that's one of the things we do. We have our Community Police Academy. Many departments do that, but we run 2 a year where we have members of the community that can come in and they go through a mini police academy just to understand why we might do certain things versus, they might misunderstand how we do something on the street. But it gives them a better understanding, and then when they hear their neighbors saying, hey, well, the police did this, they go, oh, no, I know why they did that, and they become our advocates.
That's so true, and I noticed that too. Speaking to people, they seem to understand more. They seem to understand your training, why it is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to security programs, what are some of the strong security programs that we have here in the city?
Well, I mean, for residential security and things like that.
There were instances where people were leaving their purses,
and they still do.
They still do it.
And probably about 3/4 of our larcenies from auto, where people break into a car, are unlocked cars and valuables left in plain sight. A good portion of our burglaries are unlocked homes. The best protection we can tell people is to put in a video system or an alarm system. Alarms are probably the number one.
That works, yeah.
And just use some common sense safety precautions. I mean, we do live in an urban area, even though this is like living in a small town, but it is an urban area, and there's urban problems here. So what we try to do is tell people, we'll do residential security surveys, we'll go around their house, all they have to do is call up, and we'll have an officer come out and tell them some of the things that they can do to help. We just started our Safe Cam or our community camera program, where people who have video surveillance systems or security systems in their homes or in their businesses can go online and register that. So when a detective gets a call for a crime, he doesn't have to go knock on every door and look for every camera. He can just look right on his laptop or on his tablet or phone and say, oh wow, there's video cameras in all these locations, and it has the contact information right there, so we can get the video fairly quickly and try to resolve the crime. So that we're the first department in the area to do that. It's being used in other cities like Philadelphia and New Orleans, but we're the first ones here to do it.
That's awesome. And I bet people didn't even know that we have technology like that in the city.
No, and we just rolled it out. It's been in the works for almost a year, but we just rolled it live last week.
That's awesome. Well, circling back to the event, As a police officer, what do you think your mentality is when you leave out of here, being around so many kids and so many parents and just seeing the community interact? What is your mentality when you walk away from all this?
Well, it's always nice to have a pat on the back and a thank you. I
Yes.
mean, they used to joke that if you wanted thanks, don't be a cop, be a fireman.
I've heard that.
But the reality is, you're very, very appreciated in this community. This is my first police job, and there were places where I used to police where you didn't see that kind of community support, and I think it's really good. And it makes the officers feel good. It gives them, a little bit more incentive to go out here and do a better job.
Well, we do thank you for your service. As far as I go, it's never underappreciated. I know you sacrifice the time and that family time as well, so we really do appreciate you and appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll be back with more.
Introducing a breakthrough in time management technology. A whole new day of the week. It's called Someday. Ingenious. Perhaps someday you are going to go skydiving. Enter a hot dog eating contest. Maybe ride a mechanical bull. Now, it's on the calendar. You may want to retire someday. Ready for that? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits, plan for your retirement, and how to save for it. If you already receive benefits, you can manage them online. Millions of people already have a My Social Security account. In fact, someone opens one about every 6 seconds. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
I'm really glad that the police are continuing to do National Night Out. It's something that they've been doing for a number of years. When I first started in elected office in 1993, the police department had one person who did community outreach, and it was defined as one person's job. And it's evolved into something where it's the whole department's job to have a good relationship with the community, to come to events, to put on events, and to be present in the community so that you all feel like you know them, they know you, you're comfortable going to them, you can talk to them. If there's something that you need, you feel comfortable with that. And I think that's a great way to do policing, and it's a great way for this community to come together and be one. So I just want to say it's been great being somebody who represents all of you for 22 years, and I look forward to retirement from this, but I will also be continuing to be active in the community, and I look forward to seeing many of you over the years. So have a great time.
Did want to say one thing. Mayor Williams has been a staunch supporter of the police department and the community. He's always there for us. He's been involved in COG, and if you look at his resume, you can see how much dedication he's had towards public service. And just as a token of our appreciation, this usually goes to police officers for work above and beyond the call of duty, and this is a commendation from the Chief's Award for you. So, congratulations.
Hey guys, so I'm here with Sergeant Gratton of the Special Operations Unit, and she's been giving me some horse 101 lessons. I don't know a thing about horses, and she's been schooling me. But you know what? Before we get into the rest of the lesson about horses, I want to know a little bit about you. So you were telling me, how long have you been in the force? How long have you
I've been on the department for 12 years. I've been with the horses for 8.
And what brought you to the horses?
Personally, myself, I rode as a child, so working with horses in some capacity is what I've always wanted to do. But most of the officers that are on the unit have never ridden a horse before they join.
And once you join the force, how is that process as far as moving to, say, being a new inductee or a new officer to working with the horse?
Right. Well, they prefer that you work on the road first, and then after a period of time on the road, then you can apply to the unit when there's an opening available. And then it's a 10-week class, and they teach you everything from learning how to care for the horse to how to ride the horse, and then finally do your job as a police officer from the horse.
And the horse is trained as well, yes?
Yes, the horses are trained separately. We have officers that are instructors for horses and instructors for officers.
Yes.
So it's two separate trainings, and then they're combined. So we may have a new horse that, a new officer, we're not going to pair them together because they're both new doing the job.
And so once the officer and the horse get out into the community, what are some of the general reactions that you get? Like, do people love the horse? Are people scared of horses?
There are some people that are scared of them, but the general theme is that everyone loves them. They're a lot more, I feel like it's less of a barrier than a vehicle. So, everyone wants to come up and ask questions about the horse and what their name is and if it's a boy or a girl and things like that. So it's a really good icebreaker with the officers. And some people may be afraid of them, but then that's a chance for them to learn that, they're not going to hurt you. They are large animals, but they're pretty friendly.
Yeah. And when people come up to the horses, are there any precautions or anything that they should or should not do as far as petting or walking around?
Right. Ideally, our horses are quite a bit quieter and more calm than some horses. We can't have horses that are going to be energetic or really excitable with all this going on, loud noises and balloons popping and things like that. But in general, we don't want the public to think that something that this horse may be comfortable with, other horses like that, for example, other horses that, he may have been over in the street there.
Right.
So that's one of the things that we train with them to do, to kind of be used to that and those sounds. But in general, obviously don't run up on the horse same as you would a dog. Always approach from the front. They do have a blind spot directly in front of them and directly behind them because of the way their eyes are set on their head. So usually preferably from the side. And then always we ask everyone to stay in front of our legs and not to go behind, just because of that blind spot. Horses do have it, they will, not all, but they will kick if they're frightened. They don't know what's back there.
And as far as areas where you and the horse may work, where would we normally see?
Well, I've worked for Maryland National Capital Park Police, so it's a bi-county agency in Prince George's and Montgomery County. So most of the time, unless we're doing details or, show and tells, summer camps, career days, festivals, concerts, we'll be out in the parks in both of those counties patrolling the trails.
So you and both the horse are very friendly, so when the kids or anyone in the community comes up, it's safe to say hi.
Absolutely, definitely. That's what we're here for.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Tony. Could you come over? I need some help with my computer.
Sure, I'll be right there.
Great, thank you.
Fred, how are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for coming, Tony.
What seems to be the problem?
I'm trying to schedule an appointment to go shopping tomorrow morning. The information is on my computer and I can't get it to turn on. Can you help me?
I have the number for Village of Takoma Park. I can call for you if you want.
That would be great, thank you.
When do you want to schedule?
For tomorrow morning, about 11 o'clock.
Hello. Yep, I would like to schedule a ride for Fred Parks for tomorrow at 11. Correct. Thank you. Jack Wells will be here tomorrow at 11.
Oh, Jack, great. Thank you, Tony.
Tony and Fred are members of a village. Tony's special expertise is computers. He helps his neighbors whenever he can. Once in a while, neighbors may need help like Fred when he wanted to set up a ride. In addition to computer help, the Village of Takoma Park volunteers can help in other ways. Call to volunteer or to find out more.
I just want to say that this evening is a wonderful opportunity to praise the Takoma Park Police Department. I think we're an extraordinarily lucky city and a lucky citizens who live here to be able to have the kind of protection and safety that is afforded to us by our police department. The police chief, Alan Goldberg, and his predecessor, who I got to know, Chief Wikuchi, absolutely fine professional gentlemen who absolutely have made a huge difference in improving the quality of our police department and are continuing to do so. And so tonight is a night when residents can come out and meet the officers who work for us, who we often see on our streets and around the neighborhoods. They're doing their job. And literally, as we all know, anybody who works for a police department is putting their life on the lines every day of the year. And if you don't believe me, we just need to read the newspapers about what a crazy job it is. And finally, I just want to honor Mayor Bruce Williams, I want to just say that it has been a privilege. I feel very fortunate to have been able to work under him with his sort of mentorship and tutelage. 6 years ago, when I became a member of the Takoma Park City Council, this was something it was totally new to me. I thought I understood how the world of politics and local government and democracy work. It has been a very steep learning curve, as it is for all new members of the City Council. And Bruce has served as a mentor and a model for all of us. And I think he has demonstrated that not just to the citizens and residents of Takoma Park, but across the state of Maryland, to many municipalities who now look to Takoma Park as a model of how we get things done. We get things done in a progressive sort of way, that's true, but we also seem to have an orderly system of government with a very highly professional staff, and there's a tremendous amount of mutual respect among members of the City Council and between members of the City Council and our professional staff, including the police department. And that, my friends, doesn't happen by accident. Bruce Williams has been preceded by other really good mayors as well. But he has certainly been a tremendous leader, and I could go on and on as to why that is, but I won't. I just wanted to thank you all for coming out tonight, and praise the Lord for stopping the rain just when we needed it to. So thank you very much.
When we're learning to be firefighters, we have to learn how to put all of this equipment on really fast. So I can give you guys a choice. Do you want me to put it on slow and tell you all about it? Or should I do it like really fast?
Really fast.
Oh, really fast. Well, one time. Well, okay, we'll do it real fast. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys shout 3, 2, 1, go. You think you can do that? You ready? Go for it.
3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, so I need to take my shoes off real quick. Those are the only things that come off. So if you ever want some free shoes, wait till the fire engine goes out. You can take the free shoes. No, I'm only kidding. Don't do that. All right, so I need to get my pants on real quick. Then I can throw my coat on like this. Put it up nice and high, so I make sure it covers my hood. All right, I need to get my clasps. I need to get all of these clasps to protect me from the fire, to help seal out the heat. Okay, and then the last thing I do, take down my hood, throw my helmet on, and then I'm done. Is that pretty good? All right. So this is how we get on the fire engine, just like this. And then do you want to see the breathing apparatus? All right. So what we do is I take my helmet off. Get these out of the way. And then I'll just throw this on. All right. I get my buckles. So then we do that. These are actually inside the seats of the fire engine. So we don't do this on the fire ground. We do this as we're going down the road with our seatbelt on. So then when we're ready to go into the fire, okay, we take all our hoses, we go to the door, and I put this down and I turn this on. It's going to make, yeah, and it's going to make a funny noise. You ready? You hear that? Yeah. Oh, pardon you. All right, so then I'm going to take it off here.
It kind of makes a funny noise when
It does.
you talk, right?
Oh, you're going to hear it. So I pull my mask on. I make sure it's nice and tight because it needs to keep the smoke out. Then I'll pull my hood up. Remember, I need to keep my ears and my neck. Okay. Then I'll put this on. It's got to go underneath. So seal it all up. Then what else do I need to protect? Yeah, I need my gloves, right? And these are always the hardest part to get on. And then the very last, what else do I need to protect? Is there any holes for the smoke or the fire to get into? You know? Where? Yeah, right here, okay. So that's where this thing goes. You ready to hear me breathing? Yeah. It's a little funny, so don't be afraid. You hear that?
It kind of sounds like a... Is it hard to breathe?
It's pretty hard to breathe, yeah, because you only get a breath every few seconds. That's not easy. You have a bunch of hose, and you have to run up the stairs, and then you have to pull the hose. We have ladders too. So what do you think? Who wants to this one? All right.
Still, Jen, it's your mom. And where are you? The power's off. I need you.
It is important to connect with neighbors, particularly for seniors who live alone.
Mrs. Sanders, how are you?
It's dark in here.
We brought some food for you.
Oh, that's so nice.
Kurt and I were worried about you.
Befriend your neighbor before an emergency occurs. A message from the Takoma Park Emergency Preparedness Committee.
I am a proud resident of Takoma Park for more than 30 years, and I happen to be your state comptroller. Thank you for being great neighbors and great community members. I'd like to give Captain, who is in charge of community affairs, if he could come up. I'm going to present one of my much coveted comptroller medallions to the captain here. And Captain Collington, thank you very much. I appreciate the brave men and women who work in public safety, who are first responders, who are in the fire and EMS divisions. And, well, if anyone's a veteran, I happen to be a veteran. Well, God bless you, because first and foremost, the country needs public safety in order to, have a sound economy and have a quality of life. So, thank you very much for being here tonight. It's a pleasure to be a neighbor of yours, and God bless the state of Maryland. Thank you very much.
I am here with County Council Member Tom Hucker, and he's been making the rounds. I heard you've been to a few national night outs tonight?
We've been to about, I think this is our 7th event tonight. We came to Takoma Park late now because y'all are open later than everybody else, which is terrific.
Yeah. Now, how were they? From event to event, is
right.
it the same energy, or does it differ?
They vary, and it was complicated by the rain tonight.
Yeah.
But some were smaller than others. Some were very, very big. We just came all the way up from Burtonsville, up in the northeast corner of the county. If Takoma Park folks don't know where they're, all the way up in Burtonsville, probably 12 miles north of here. And, hundreds of people were out in a parking lot there with moon bounces and historic fire trucks, new fire trucks, police, Montgomery College, a lot of different community institutions and nonprofits represented up there, and a big participation from lots of neighbors that are out to meet their police and work with them and keep their community safe, which is what National Night Out is all about.
Definitely. Getting the information out there about programs, neighborhood watches,
Right.
any anti-crime programs and things like that. Are you able to talk about any programs or anything that may be going on between the police and city council members or county council members?
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of it pretty close up. I serve on the Public Safety Committee for the County Council, which chaired by Mark Elrich, who obviously lives here in Takoma Park as well. And so we work with the police department as well as the Fire and Rescue and the State's Attorney's Office, very closely throughout the year. A lot of the problems that we have with the police departments in other parts of the country, we don't have as nearly as much in Montgomery County. We have a very involved police department here. We have a high level of community engagement, and I think a pretty trusting relationship with with the chief and his leadership on down through the ranks. So they're in our school systems all the time. They're at Cub Scout and Girl Scout troops. They're helping neighbors put together neighborhood watch programs, and they're very transparent. They go to any community event that they're invited to. So they're very accessible. It doesn't mean things are perfect, but I think we've done a good job in Montgomery County. It's a testament to our residents. They're very engaged in the community. They've demanded transparency and accountability, and we've been able to get that so far from our police department generally.
Great. And going forward, are there any areas that you think we could kind of work on or probably evolve?
One thing I'm very interested in, and many people are obviously, since the events in Ferguson and Baltimore and Long Island and elsewhere, is body cameras. Obviously people behave better when they know they're being recorded, whether it's a police officer or somebody that they're talking to on the street. That's right. And so I was very glad that the county executive initiated a pilot program to put cameras on our patrol officers in Montgomery County. There's a couple complications. They're expensive, and then it's expensive to store the data. That's even much more expensive than the cameras themselves. And then there's privacy questions about how long the data is stored and how you redact who that's available to, whether it's available to everybody in the public through Public Information Act, as Seattle and other places have done, or whether they do things to restrict the personal information that's stored in that data if these cameras are on all the time. So there's a lot of complications. Different jurisdictions are handling those questions differently. Baltimore had a bill that the mayor vetoed. Now they have a new program coming together. DC has been in the news quite a bit for their program. I'm glad. I think we're attacking this responsibly in Montgomery County. We have a pilot program that's going forward. We have cameras bought. There's a camera on the chief and on all his top officers. They're looking for volunteers in the ranks to wear the cameras as well. And as the pilot program progresses, we've voted on the council to fund the program going forward for the next 6 months or so. And then as the program goes forward, we're going to roll it out to all the police that are on the street in Montgomery County. And I've been looking at legislation and working with community activists to put together legislation to make sure the public knows that we'll have protection of body cameras on our patrol officers going forward in the future.
Okay, all right. Well, Councilmember Hupper, thank you for coming out, sharing the information. The rain kind of complicated things tonight, but we're glad you were able to make the rounds.
Well, no, I want to thank you and all the activists that come out, because it's really the partnership between the community activists and the police that we have both in Takoma Park and with the Montgomery County Police as well that really strengthen our community and keep our crime rates lower than they are in an awful lot of surrounding jurisdictions.
Definitely.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Phil. Take care.
We've come to the end of tonight's National Night Out. Now, it was a really great event. Sad to say that the rain kind of ended things a little bit prematurely, but like I said, great event. Most importantly, the information. The police and the community had a chance to interact.
And if you're interested about learning more programs that the police department puts on, you can contact your local Takoma Park Police Department at 301-270-1100. So thanks for joining us, and remember, be safe.